Like, literally, this is just us doing our own thing, right?
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. He's Ro.
She's Meg.
It's Meg and Ro in the morning. Good morning.
Buenos dias.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about back to school.
Back to school.
But wait, no. This is our fourth episode.
Fourth episode.
Fourth episode that we've recorded. And I forgot the bit. It's literally on notes behind the camera.
That's true.
I'm Megan, and today I had Jalisco's breakfast tacos for breakfast. I had egg, chorizo, and cheese, the yellow cheese, because it's the best.
Yes.
And then Ro put me on potato, chorizo, bean, and cheese, and they were very good.
You got to substitute the egg for the beans. I had to switch up your protein a little bit.
Very
That's what
tasty.
you got to do.
Very good. And I had a Mexican Coke, and then Ro brought me two more because they're a hot commodity.
They are. It's
hard to get them right now.
We are on shortage on Mexican Cokes.
If you want to send me a crate of Mexican Cokes, you can send them to 302 Mantooth Avenue in Lufkin, Texas, Black Spot Tattoo Company.
Yep. I'm Ro. All-time favorite movie, and I will argue with anybody with this, is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
You know, I've never seen that movie. No, you can't leave. I haven't seen a lot of movies. I also haven't seen Mean Girls.
It was released in 2010.
Uh-huh.
Best movie. If you're a gamer and if you like video games, it is fantastic because there's a lot of game reference in that movie. There's like Street Fighter, there's Soul Calibur, there's some hints of Mario, hints of Zelda sound effects are in the game.
Oh, cool.
And so lots of hints of different games are in there. It's very, very cool.
I wonder how much money they had to pay Nintendo for that.
Ooh, for real. But movie crush in that movie, Ramona Flowers, she's right there.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yes.
Okay, so like I said, we are going to talk about back to school, but before we get into that, Ro. What was the first phone you ever had?
First phone. All right, we go back in time.
Because you're a couple years older than me.
Yes, two years. 2 years older.
Literally a couple.
Let me get into my gamer stance right here.
Okay.
Right. First cell phone I ever owned myself.
Okay.
Was an LG Shine.
What does that even look like?
So the LG Shine.
You're gonna have to put a picture up for the people.
So I will. I'll put it up
on
over
the video.
Here. The LG Shine was a silver phone. It was like, it looked like a touchscreen, but you can slide up.
Okay.
So you could slide it down, and it'd be like a miniature iPhone.
Weird.
Right.
It looks like really bizarre.
It is the center button. Like on that model over there. That one right there.
Yeah.
The center button was a joystick, so it can go left. So like a full 360. That's what it could do. And then you had like your back button, your forward button, and then your keypad. But that was the first phone I ever owned, and I could like call my parents with. So that phone was. Now, did I have that phone for very long? No, because as a young teenager, very careless, I got it in the summertime. Would put my phone in my pocket and jump straight in the pool. That's what I would do. So
bad
I
idea.
had my phone. Yeah, bad idea.
When did you get that phone? How old were you?
I was about 14. So when I got into middle school, 13, 14, whatever age you are when we enter 6th grade in middle school.
Sure.
7th grade in middle school. That's when I had a phone, because that's when we would start to have like after school practice.
Right.
For football. So I would like call like, hey, I'm out of practice. That's the only reason why I had the phone. If I wasn't in sports, then there was no need for a phone.
Right.
I'd just wait for my ride or hop on the bus, whatever, and then just go home. But since I had after school practice every now and then, it wasn't like every day for like the high school days, but every now and then I have after school practice.
Sure.
But my favorite phone before internet, smartphones, was a Razor.
Right, the Motorola.
The goat of cell phones.
Oh my God.
The iPhones of back in the day.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's debatable. My first phone was the original Samsung Nexus. It looked like that. And I got it when I was 12, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Because the year I turned 12, which was 2011, late 2011, my parents opened Standpipe Coffee House.
Mm-hmm.
Or they were a part of opening Standpipe Coffee House. And I, was in charge of babysitting a lot more.
Yeah.
So it was pretty imperative that I had a cell phone to be able to contact my parents in case anything happened. So I didn't have that phone for very long. I think I had it for about 6 months. And apparently those phones got, recalled.
Battery?
Yeah, the battery.
The battery.
Yeah, the battery would
batteries.
overheat. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen as much anymore, but I got a different kind of Samsung after that. I don't remember what it was, but I do remember my first phone, Samsung Nexus. I was so excited.
Did you how I call it cringe texting?
Mm-hmm.
Because we would say you're as in you are.
Mm-hmm. I still do that.
Or
Anyway.
Or Y with the letter Y.
Anyway,
Okay.
I still do that.
All right.
Back to the topic at hand. Back to school. As we're recording this, and that topic that I just brought up, first phone, that's pretty topical for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Today is August 12th, 2021.
So in our area, people are going back to school. And when this comes out, which will be later in August, there will be more people going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
The next couple of weeks are just going to be a lot of back to school. I know that people who went back to school last week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Different school districts, different rules, but we don't know that kind of stuff.
In this episode, we're gonna be really covering our back to school experiences and what that was like for us, because eventually we will do an episode on public school versus homeschooling. I was homeschooled.
I was
for
public
those
schooled.
Of you guys who don't know, and there is a pretty big difference there. But I think that we can find some common ground in what it was like to go back to school, shopping, and what it was like to go back to school and all that good stuff.
Right.
So, we would typically go back to school shopping during tax-free weekend, obviously.
The time to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't, then...
What was the point?
Yeah, you missed out.
We would buy our notebooks, pencils, erasers, anything that, craft stuff, like crayons and markers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Binders for any, school assignments or anything like that. A lot of the stuff we bought is the same stuff that people in, regular school would buy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought a completely different story.
Really?
I thought, I didn't even think y'all would buy school supplies because y'all at home.
We still did school, though.
I know, but, I figured y'all would already have it, oh, hey, we're homeschooled. We might as well already have it on us way before public school.
No, I think Mom gave us a pretty accurate, schedule of how that all worked.
Oh, okay.
So we would also, a lot of the times go, back to school shopping because kids grow. And tax-free weekend was a really good way for us to buy clothes for the following, semester or whatever.
That was when Flex Game was on. If you didn't have the shoes, if you didn't have the shirt, okay, if you were in a school that had a uniform, that's completely different. Mm-hmm. Your shoe game was your flex game. But once you got into high school, your attire was your flex game.
Okay, so that's not relatable for me as a homeschooler.
Right.
People did not care about that because even though it was just my siblings and I, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would have a homeschool co-op that we would go to once a week, and there might be other things that we would go and do throughout the week. But no, we never cared about brands or anything like that.
Really?
So that's completely I didn't start caring about brands until I was much older.
There's a picture or a meme of the freshman, as in the freshman being a highlighted shirt, highlighted shorts, highlighted socks, highlighted shoes, a highlighted backpack.
Mm-hmm. Highlighter colors, yellow, neon?
Just straight yellow.
Oh my God.
There's a picture. I'm gonna put it up. But there's a picture that this is the freshman of high school. And then there's the senior of high school where they're basketball shorts, white tee, and a pen and a notebook. Right? So difference between your first day of school and then your last day of school, basically. Kind of that kind of stuff.
Did y'all have to get school books?
What do you mean? Textbooks and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, did y'all have those?
Yeah. The school had them.
Okay. And
so what we would buy is the school would give us a list.
Okay.
So the school list was basically the teacher's list.
Okay.
Buy expo markers. Buy 2 or 3 packets of notebook paper or copy paper.
Right.
So I started to realize that we bought all that stuff because sometimes the school didn't have the sufficient funding to buy 10,000 of white copy paper.
Right.
Because then again, you got to realize some schools have over 1,000 students.
Mm-hmm. Some schools have thousands of students.
Yeah, thousands of students. So imagine the school having to buy minimum 10,000 or around 10,000 packets of white copy paper.
That would be really expensive.
That has to be printed out for homework.
Right.
Per student, per class, per week. It's a lot of paper. That is a lot of paper.
We should defund the military so that way the public education system in America has more funding. I said what I said. If you don't like it, you can tag me on Twitter, Mr. in the Morning, and we'll fight about it. Not really. I don't want to fight about it because I'm right.
Right. But yeah, we had the list and we would check off the list. So some of the stuff was what the teacher needed for the classroom for the year. Because obviously teachers' salary is not good.
No, teacher's salary is not good.
We would all have to help out, which is like, okay, cool. Parents help out teachers teach their kids learn, whatever.
Right. Maybe those kids become teachers. Who knows?
There you go.
Those kids become parents who are teachers who have kids. You know, the cycle continues.
It's just a cycle. And so that's how it would work. We'd have a list, check it off.
Right.
What the teacher would needed, what we would needed. And yeah, that was it.
So the books were provided by the school?
Yes.
Okay. So.
And we would have updated books. So it's not like the book lasted 10 years. Not like there'd be like a new volume. Like let's say history and volume 7 was from 2005. Let's say now they're like upgraded to volume 6 or volume 8. So they would buy new books.
Okay. We would buy some books new, but a lot of like our math books, because we did Saxon math. Any homeschooler will know what I'm talking about. We did Saxon math, and so
is it like music and math?
No.
Okay.
That was just the brand of books.
Oh,
and
okay. Cool.
I have several aunts and uncles, and they're not that much older than me.
Okay.
So my Uncle Jonathan is 4 years older than me, and then my Uncle Stephen, I think, is 6 years older than me.
All right.
And my Aunt Anna, I think, is 9 years older than me. But a lot of the times we would get hand-me-down books from Stephen and Jonathan. Okay. And a lot of the times their books would be hand-me-downs. It's not like math changes, right?
Right. 1 + 1 is 1. I mean 2.
Really? And I'm the homeschooled one.
Oh, man. Okay.
1 + 1 = 2.
2. 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, anyway.
Yes. Anyway. But for things like, language, science, those kinds of things, we would get new books. I was obsessed with reading my grandpa Pedrati. So my grandpa on my mom's side, he gifted us this huge set of encyclopedias once.
Ooh.
And it was like, they were all really pretty. Like, they were for kids, right? But they were really pretty. Like, the spines were, like, brightly colored.
Oh, okay.
And so there would be, like, one on insects, and one on poetry, and one on astronomy, and one on gems. And it was, I loved those books. We got rid of them when we moved, I think, because there were just so many of them. But
So you had a library of books.
Yeah. I loved to read when I was younger.
Books. Wow. And I'm the public school one. Anyway.
Ro, are you having trouble today? You literally have coffee.
It's been
you're not wearing a watch.
5 years.
Right.
Or so.
So, we would. What would the? We can't get super into this. Give me a quick summary. What would a day back to school look like for you?
Okay. First of all, everybody's late.
Okay.
On back to school.
Why?
Because all the teachers forgot how to take their kids to school.
Oh.
Because they're like,
all of the teachers?
Snap. I mean, all the parents, sorry.
My goodness, Ro.
Wow, what was in that coffee? All the parents forgot how to take their kids back to school because they're like, okay, wake up. Oh my goodness, it's 7:30. Let's skedaddle. Let's run. Let's go Speedy Gonzalez to school. And there'd be this super long line, like if it was a brand new restaurant, just like Texas Roadhouse. And people would be waiting. The teachers and the staff would be like, I forgot how to greet the kids. Open the door. Hey, welcome to school. And then you just walk into school. It was funny because when you're a freshman, you look at your schedule. You're like, where's room 257? you're on one side of school, like, bro, it's on the other side of school. Like, oh, snap, you got to run. The first week and a half up to the second week, it's bearable to be late. Mm-hmm. But you're just, to summarize the first day, you're just late all the time. Mm-hmm. And you're getting to know where everything's at. Especially now, I don't know, but because people were out of school because of Rona.
Right.
They're like, where was this classroom? Even though you already went to that school, I'm pretty sure some people forgot what classroom was where.
Yeah.
But it was just being late all the time.
My mom would give us a heads up, obviously.
Sound the alarm?
On, like, Sunday night, she'd be like, hey, we're starting school tomorrow. And we would get up, sometimes at, like, 7, sometimes at, like, 8. It's been a long time since I was, like, a little kid in school. Mm-hmm. When I became, like, a teenager, we did school more, like, on our own time. But when I was a little kid, which is what I'm thinking back to.
Right.
We would get up, I wouldn't always eat breakfast, but we would start school at 9 o'clock. So if Xander and I woke up early, we could play on the Wii.
Okay.
Before we
got to learn.
Yeah, we got to learn. And we could decide on what subjects we wanted to do in what order.
Really?
So if I wasn't feeling like math, then I would do language. I was really good at language. And Mom also, we skipped a lot of grades because if I was, like, really having fun with my lesson, right? Like, if I was really having fun doing, like, language comprehension.
Right.
Then she would just let me do as many lessons as I wanted.
Huh.
And so then I would, like, finish that semester's book.
Right.
Like, within, like, a couple months.
Right.
One of the things that we did every week, sometimes twice a week, is we would go to the library. Sometimes we would go to the zoo. Sometimes we do our school in the afternoon. It depended. We had, like, a set day for chores, which was usually Tuesday.
Okay.
We would do school for a couple hours and then eat lunch and then a couple more hours. But our days were really relaxed, and I feel like I learned better because of it.
I feel like that way because school is like, okay, the teacher is like, there's a picture, and it's like the teacher's head is a square, and all the students are circles. But then the teacher's like, no, square, 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 like teaching them the school system way instead of teaching students the way they comprehend it better.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, that's why I like to learn now.
Yes, exactly, because then you're able to do it in your own way.
Because I'm like, okay, I understand things my way. It may not make sense, but I completely understand it my way compared to if a teacher were to teach it to me the school system way.
I think that's why I ultimately decided to drop out of college. I went to college when I was 16, and it was a completely different way of learning for me.
Right.
And so it was very hard to adjust because I had to do things by, like you're saying, like the teacher's standards. Right?
Yeah.
And I just don't thrive in an environment like that. Like, I did have a tutor for math. Once I got to, like, algebra, but I enjoyed school. My mom could probably tell you that, like, Xander and I would fight her tooth and nail a lot of the time because we didn't want to do it.
Nice.
And she would always threaten us, like, well, if you don't want to do it here, you can go to public school. That was her threat, is that if we didn't do our school at home, we had to go to public school. And we didn't want to go to public school, so then we would do it.
Oh, that just sounds scary in general.
Yeah, no. I mean, imagine for, like, two kids.
I was public school, and I'm like, I don't know.
Sometimes we would switch it up, too. I mean, we'll get more into this in our public school versus homeschool episode, but, like, maybe we would go do school at the library, or once Standpipe opened, we would go do it at Standpipe, or we would go do it at the park. That's pretty cool. So we could go and do it anywhere.
Yeah.
So starting school for me was not a scary thing. It was kind of just, like, my everyday, you know?
Right. And to piggyback off of your college before we end it, I didn't go to college. I went to a tech school.
Right.
And I liked that tech school. Even though I'm not doing that practice now, I still can do that practice at home.
What was your first day at tech school like?
So first class, tech school at UTI, each class is 3 weeks long.
Okay.
Engine building, 3 weeks. Transmission, 3 weeks. Electrical, 3 weeks. So on and so on.
So you just keep having several days of, like, first day of school.
Yes. The first day of school, it was like, all right, guys, this is our notebooks. This is engine building 101. This is how the engine works. So there was no, like, all right, stand up. What's your name? What do you like? None of that. Because it was a mix of different ages.
Mm-hmm.
One of my best friends was a 60-year-old
mm-hmm.
because he's like, military's paying for this, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, bro, cool. And so me and him got along super well.
Yeah.
So every first class was kind of like the first day, mm-hmm. but you already knew people.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I'm brand new to this classroom.
Mm-hmm.
You're just brand new to the subject.
Right.
And the teachers are like, you've been in this school for 3 months. You should already know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
You're all adults. We don't have to baby you.
Did you have a syllabus in high school, like in public school? Did y'all get a syllabus of like what to expect throughout the year?
Yeah. In some classes that I can remember, yes.
The first time I got a syllabus was in college.
Wow.
Yeah, because my mom didn't have, like, we would just do.
Right,
you know?
yeah,
like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
would just learn. Like, there was no, like, plan. Okay. We were unschooled, which meant we didn't do an accredited program. I know that there is a really bad connotation about that, but we'll get into it in the other episode that we do about schooling.
Yes.
But yeah, we didn't have like tests. My first time like really taking like tests
I
outside
bet
of co-op.
that was nerve-wracking.
Not really, because I'm good at taking tests.
Okay.
I'm good at that kind of thing. But yeah, my first day of college, I think my dad took me to school, and I picked up coffee and kolaches, and I was so nervous.
I bet.
But I made a lot of friends the first day, and a lot of those Piney Woods kids. Piney Woods is the charter school here in Lufkin. They were going too. And so I knew a lot of the people who were in college.
Right.
I've always had like older friends.
Okay.
So there were actually people that I knew who were like 18, 19, 20 who were going to school, who were out of high school.
Gotcha.
Who I would have lunch with.
Nice.
Shout out to Lauren and Shannon and Emily. Emily was also going to AC at the time. Shout out to them. You know who you are. I think Morgan had already transferred to SFA at that point. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't remember a lot about my first day. I just know that I was really nervous.
Right. I mean, I was kind of nervous the first day in high school in Houston, but it was totally manageable. I liked it because it was something I liked. And because automotive is something I'm passionate about.
Right.
I learned a lot more physics and science and math in automotive.
Right, because it was something that you were passionate about.
Yeah. So even though I disliked math and science and like physics, or I don't know, it made sense when you put it in car terms.
Right.
Like this gas turns into this gas because of this filter, because of this. Oh, it makes sense. This chemical change reacts to this because of this. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. I get it. And so I understand it now.
Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun. We're excited to talk about the differences between public schooling and homeschooling in another episode where we get more into it. But tell us about your first day of school. Are you listening to this and you've just entered high school, college, tech school? Maybe you're in the military and it's like your first day of tech school in the military.
Yep.
Let us know. You can find us at Mr. in the Morning on Twitter. That's MR in the Morning. And at Meg and Ro in the Morning on Facebook and Instagram. You can tweet at us and use the hashtag Mr. in the Morning.
Right.
That is MR in the Morning. You can send us a message on Facebook, on Instagram, and let us know what your first day memories are. And honestly, this is like back to school, but like, tell us about like the first day. Like, we should do like first day at the job.
First day, that's interesting. That's another episode right there.
That's another episode right there. Anyway, let us know about your back to school stories. What was that like for you? What kind of notebooks did you like to buy? What kind of brand of clothing would you get?
Yeah. For real.
Did you care about brands?
Yeah.
Were you homeschooled or public schooled, or did you go to a private or charter school or boarding school?
Yeah, for real. Forgot about that.
Let us know. And thank you for listening or watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure to give us a follow and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating and a review. I don't think that we've mentioned that before.
We haven't. Until now. Follow us on Spotify. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review and a rating. That will really help us get the word out there that our podcast exists. Yeah. To my public schoolers, what's a better breakfast? Bagel pizza or pancake sticks?
What are you talking about? Okay, that was great.